Ladies and gentlemen, it's that time of week again. It's Monday. It's the beginning of the week. It's time for another episode of Austin's Academy of Sports. So without further ado, let's hop right into it. It was a busy week of sports. Many athletic events were happening. Lots to talk about. Pro Bowl just wrapped up. Super Bowl week. It's this Sunday, February 9th at 6:30 on Fox. So tune into that. That's the biggest event of NFL season. It'll bring in many viewers, so make sure to tune into that this Sunday night. If you want more information, just look up on social media, Super Bowl, and the big Eagles and Chiefs logos will come up. Chiefs possible three-peat. Eagles trying to ruin that with their first Super Bowl with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley. But I'm not talking about the Super Bowl today. I want to go right into the association and what happened over the weekend with all these big blockbuster trades in the NBA. First, let's start with the three-team trade with Luka to the Lakers, Anthony Davis to the Mavs, and Jalen Hood-Schifino to the Jazz, and with multiple picks mixed in there, which I'll talk about in a few minutes. And then there was another trade also on Sunday, I believe it was. It was De'Aaron Fox to the San Antonio Spurs and Zach LaVine to the Kings in another three-team trade as well. And then Jimmy Butler, of course, he still has not been traded, which is kind of a big dilemma in the Miami, Florida area with Jimmy Butler kind of opting out of not playing in all these games. Sensational player, don't get me wrong, but just the way he's handling things off the court is not the best. And then the ownership over there, not the best either. So if you're a Miami fan, not the way you're wanting to hear anything with Jimmy Butler, these sweepstakes going around with the possible trade for Jimmy Butler, and hearing Luka to the Lakers, AD to the Mavs. Where's Jimmy Butler going to go? Maybe we'll find out this week, because this week is very important. If you're an NBA fan, it's the trade deadline week, which I'll preview a little later in the show. So let's get back to that three-team trade with the Lakers, Mavs, and Jazz. Full trade is as listed. Lakers get Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris. So three straight players, no picks. The Mavs, on the other hand, Dallas Mavericks, they get Anthony Davis and Max Christie, two players, and then a 2029 Los Angeles Lakers first-round draft pick. So if you're thinking hypothetically in 2029, that would be, a senior or anywhere from a freshman to sophomore to junior in high school right now, making their way to the NBA, only playing 1 year in college. So right now, if you're thinking a young kid, younger than me even, I'm 20, younger than me, when somebody in high school, that would be your future pretty much. I mean, you're going to the Lakers, a first-round pick, 2029 to think about. What is it, 2025 right now, just beginning. So these high school athletes, basketball players are thinking, did I just kind of get traded, as a funny pun, did I just kind of get traded to the Lakers, or to the Mavs, I should say, from the Lakers, because the Lakers wanted to get a generational player in Luka Doncic. So you kind of got to think about who's going to get drafted in 2029, which obviously it's way over your head right now, because we got 2026, 2027, 2028 draft. These college athletes need to get drafted, prioritized first, before we dive right into high school athletes. But if you're thinking that 2029 would be a high school freshman or sophomore balling out anywhere around the world right now. And then the Jazz, Utah Jazz, they kind of snuck into this three-team trade. They got Jalen Hood-Schifino from the Lakers. I believe he was on a first-year rookie from Indiana, going to a rebuilding squad in the Utah Jazz. So that kind of fits well in the Utah Jazz. And then they got also 2 draft picks. But the two teams I kind of want to highlight, obviously, Luka Doncic and Anthony Davis. We'll start with the Lakers. They get a generational talent in Luka Doncic. I mean, 25 years old, a global phenom, didn't play college basketball, kind of come over from, I believe it was Europe, and, he's been injured since Christmas. Christmas Day, that game the Mavericks played, he injured his calf, and he's been out since Christmas, so he hasn't played this year yet, in 2025. Still kind of re-aggravating, kind of his first injury, I would say. Not as injury-prone as Anthony Davis. Luka has had a few injuries in his career since 2018, but when he entered the league, but he's been nonchalant. I mean, he's stayed on the court for many games, many seasons, and he's, like I said, been a generational talent. On the other hand, Anthony Davis, he's been injury prone. He's been injured with his abs right now since January 28th, which is only a few days ago, but January 28th, he's been out with an abdominal strain, and he's landed in Dallas. They've got practice today. They've got a game tomorrow. They just got blown out by the Cleveland Cavaliers yesterday on Sunday. Whenever you're watching this, it was last Sunday. And it was not a good scene for any Dallas fans because I saw on social media there was some fans kind of like protesting, as you could say, bringing a coffin up to American Airlines Center and just trying to relieve the ashes of Luka Doncic as a Maverick. Luka is in LA now. AD is in Dallas. Both have landed. And it should be, when they're healthy, they should be both good. I mean, they're both good players when they're on the court. Luka is averaging 25 points per game, 30 points per game in his career. And AD, same there, around the same thing. He's had 1,795 blocks in his career. Now, granted, he entered the league in 2012 from Kentucky. He's coached under John Calipari and played at a prestigious Kentucky university, drafted to the Pelicans, bounced around the league again, and then eventually LeBron James from the Lakers recruited him over to the Lakers, and now his farewell is kind of gone now, which is kind of irrelevant. With that being said, like I said, Luka's been out since Christmas Day. AD has been out since a few weeks ago, January 28th. Both are progressing to return later this season. AD will probably return quicker. But I think with all the stats being out there, it's hard to say who won the trade. I think right now, Lakers definitely did. Luka didn't win the trade. He got abolished of some money. He was eligible for a supermax contract extension this offseason, and now he will be eligible for the Lakers. So with all the money-wise, it's hard to look up. You'll have to go to different websites and on who won the trade and who didn't. But I still think AD leaving the Lakers, that leaves a big defensive presence, takes a big defensive presence away from the Lakers. He was, like I said, almost 2K blocks in his career, and he'll probably get that. He's kind of a Hall of Famer, and defense wins champions in the NBA. I mean, most of these players can score with ease, and if you have a perimeter defender deep in the post, you can defend as well. And AD, he'll swat some shots away, and he'll keep teams under 100 with the help of his team. But if you pair up AD with Kyrie Irving, I think that's a pretty good duo. Both teams, I'll give a B+ for that trade. You can let me know in the comments what you think of my grade for the trade. Give me a grade of your own. But with all those stats given out to me and on the internet, just look them up and make your own grade. See what you think of this trade with the 3-team trade with the Jazz, the Lakers, and the Mavs. Now, since I am a Detroit Pistons fan and we're talking about the association, I kind of want to switch over to a hotter team in the association right now, and that's the Detroit Pistons. They went 2-0 over the weekend with one win against the Mavs and one win against the Bulls. Currently in 7th place in the Eastern Conference, which will give you a play-in bid. 7 plays 8, 9 plays 10. Later in the season, they've already doubled their winning record since last season, and they're in the right path. I believe they hired the right coach in J.B. Bickerstaff. They have a good front office in Trajan Langdon, and phenomenal player in Cade Cunningham. He got his first All-Star appearance this season, which is February 14th. So that week will be All-Star break in the Bay Area, San Fran. And I think Cade will ball out in the All-Star game on national TV. He's going to be a reserve. He kind of got snubbed as the All-Star starter. And he'll get some big minutes in this All-Star game. So, I mean, with those 3 things being said, what else do I kind of need to say about the Pistons? Great team. The only thing that hurt them is the injury bug, which you don't get really injured in NBA this year. Jaden Ivey kind of got a football injury. He got, twisted up a little bit, broke his leg, broke his fibula. Same injury as Aiden Hutchinson earlier on in the season. Jaden Ivey got as well. And maybe he'll return this season, maybe not. Deep playoff run, definitely. Finals end in June. I could see Ivey. I wouldn't rush Ivey back. I'd have him ready for next year. But he could be a good player for the Pistons coming down that home stretch. About halfway through the season, like I said, with the All-Star break coming up in a few weeks. And Cade being there, Cade being the only Piston there. Should be a great event. We got the Super Bowl this weekend, the All-Star break, I believe the weekend after. We got March Madness coming up. So a lot of things happening in the sports world. And I'm just here to break it all down to you, give you the facts, give you my podcasts, and ultimately sit you down on the couch and glue into the TV, which I don't have on right now. Watch whatever sports you like, and that will be my dream, because sports kind of run the world. I mean, they kind of, when you come home from a long day of work, sit down on the couch and you could just enjoy yourself and watch Pistons basketball, whatever sport you want to watch. And I think Pistons, they'll be playing for a long time to come this season. They could make it to the playoffs. Right now, like I said, they're the 7th seed. And I think Jalen Duren, a double-double machine for the Pistons, is going to have to be that X factor with the absence of Ivy. Maybe a trade for the Pistons this week. But tune in for that. And Cade, obviously, 7 triple-doubles this season. Tied for 4th, I believe, behind, obviously, Nikola Jokic, LeBron James. And there's another phenomenal player in there, too, as well. But he's tied with Josh Hart with 7 triple-doubles this season. He's been stuck on that number for a minute. But tonight, the Pistons play the Atlanta Hawks, LCA, Little Caesars Arena. If you're going, have fun. If you're not, tune in to FanDuel Sports Network. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Enjoy Super Bowl weekend. And that's another episode of Austin's Academy of Sports. Thank you.